Why did your phone...
Right as the timer went off.
That's impressive.
Brilliant. Hello and welcome to Tall and Short. Why am I saying this like an NPC? I am Sam.
With Tim and Tony.
Yeah, with Tim and Tony. I am Tony.
And I am Tim.
And this is how we talk all the time now.
You are really tenanamenting right now, man.
Shut up.
Wow.
I know. Listen, this monster is not good for my health. So I continue to drink it.
I had one of those earlier, and man, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it has no sugar, so that's good for you, right? That's how that works.
I do the coffee ones.
I don't like the coffee ones. Anyway.
I do. They're my thing. I prefer them.
So, Tim, you want to go house hunting?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
But first, before we do that, I actually want to tell you something. I want to say you were right. You were right about something.
Okay.
A while back, this was years ago, you went to a Thunder game, and you said, go see a Thunder game. It's different. But doesn't matter.
It's a different vibe. Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether you're a Sooner fan or a Cowboy fan, but if you're in Oklahoma, go see a Thunder game.
Yep. Pro tip.
I finally saw my first Thunder game last night, and I was at the time of this recording. And it was fascinating. It was not the first basketball game I've seen. The first one that I can remember for sure seeing was the Harlem Globetrotters had come through Oklahoma.
Yeah, but that's a different.
That was more just entertainment, and that was fun.
That's a show.
Yeah, but this was a full on, and they won. It was.
Who'd they play?
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh yeah.
It was nice. It was a wonderful show, and just the atmosphere, just the atmosphere and the everybody cheering on the Thunder. It was truly different. Like from an outside person looking in, like if I were to choose like being a sociologist or a frickin' alien from an extraterrestrial planet coming to this planet, seeing this, go, this is fascinating. And it was.
You are kind of from a different world.
I way more ways than one. Like I never feel like
You've never been a sports person.
Never been a sports person. I don't relate to a lot of people is the thing. Like I have such a massive disconnect from a lot of people. It's not even funny. But that being said, that's how it was, and it was a fun game. I definitely enjoyed it, and there were some people cheering on. Like there was one guy who said, "That's my girlfriend's boyfriend down there." I'm like, okay, dude, go ahead. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you finally went.
Yep.
So. Houses.
We're going house hunting now, Tony.
We're going house hunting.
Yeah, I wanted to do my little tidbit about the top of the show.
Yeah. So we are going to talk about. Well, I'll give you this. I'll give you the option. Would you rather go to San Jose, California, or God? I think I'm going to name this thing Ted or something.
Damn it, Ted.
Damn it, Ted. My computer is still buffering.
Ted Buffer. That's it. This is Ted Buffer.
At least it's not Ted Bundy.
Oh.
Oh.
You're the one who made that connection, not me. And I do the serial killer episodes, mister.
I know, right?
How does that work out?
Okay, well, we're just going to go to... You don't get an option. Because the other one isn't loading. We're going to go to San Jose, California.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
What?
Do you know the way to San Jose?
Is that song?
Yes.
I don't... What?
Did you ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway and they had to do song titles? That was one of the song titles.
I may or may not be currently binge watching it on HBO.
Dude.
It's background noise while I play Baldur's Gate 3. Shut up.
Fair enough. But yes.
Okay. I got to load again. We're good.
Sunny San Jose, California.
Yes. San Jose, California. The Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Swinging for the fences immediately.
Big time. We are going big.
So, and actually, my mother's been to the Winchester house.
Has she?
Yeah, because she was stationed in California when she was in the military over there. So,
Aha.
a little background for our out of the loop listeners. The Winchester Mystery House is a mansion in San Jose. Was once the personal residence of Sarah Winchester, the widow of the firearms, obviously Winchester firearms magnate William Wirt with I've got it.
Come on, Mushmouth.
William Wirt Winchester.
There you
Christ.
go. Triple W coming in hot.
All right, www. Dot. The house became a tourist attraction 9 months after Sarah Winchester's death in 1922. And it's most well known for the architecture and the pure size of the building itself. So when I say the architectural curiosity of it, it's renowned for having stairs that lead to nowhere, doors that open to brick walls, windows inside the house that lead to other, windows looking into other rooms.
Yes.
Weird things like that. The lore of that being and it's probably not actually true, but the guilt of being responsible for so many deaths at the hand of the Winchester firearms themselves.
Yeah, the Winchester rifles were a very
popular, and still are. It's still an ongoing company, but yeah, they were hugely relied on. I would just go relied on in the 1800s and early 1900s for being simple and effective weapons for survival, for police work, for military use. And the overall theory is that Sarah Winchester was so overcome with guilt for being married to the man that was, third, fourth hand responsible for all these deaths, that she felt like the spirits of all the people that died at the bullets of the Winchesters, their spirits would come and haunt her. So if she confused the spirits and built a house that was so batshit crazy,
well, yeah,
that they couldn't find her because they'd be confused and lost, she wouldn't have to deal with it.
That would make sense.
The ultimate procrastination.
True, man. I was thinking about the Winchester for a minute here, and yeah, when did the company start?
Oh God, look that up. The one thing I didn't look up on this. So, the Winchester Repeating Arms Company.
Yeah.
Was established in 1866.
1866. Very nice.
Started in New Haven, Connecticut by Oliver Winchester.
Mm-hmm.
Who was, I believe, the father of William Wirt Winchester, who was married to Sarah Winchester.
Yep.
God damn it, Ted.
Shit. I had to ask because it took me a second, like the Winchester rifle. I had to look up, and I had to make sure I had it right. Should be no surprise. My favorite president, Theodore Roosevelt, he owned quite a few Winchesters. The first one being a Winchester 1876, when he purchased it at the age of 22.
Yeah. And yeah, they make ammunition, they make the weapon, they make the guns themselves, and they range from pistols to rifles to shotguns, and I mean, you could deviate all from there, the different variations of those weapons. But extremely lucrative company.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that Winchester was basically the name you looked for when you looked for a gun if you were going west.
Yes.
Or you were going on an expedition.
Mm-hmm.
Like Roosevelt. The image that pops into my mind of when you say Theodore Roosevelt is him in that not pith helmet, but that hat with the tan tan.
Like a raccoon cap?
No. Like
Oh no, yeah. The wide brim hat.
Yes.
I know the hat you're
not
talking
a pith
about.
helmet, but some similar.
Like a very wide brimmed.
Yeah, and then like the tan khaki button up. Robin Williams depiction.
Yes.
And then
his Rough Rider gear.
Yeah, the Rough Rider gear. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of his Rough Rider grip, but in his arms is a not a bolt action, but a lever action Winchester rifle.
And those were actually part of his Rough Rider requirements. Like that was the weapons because he knew
you had to know how to handle a lever action Winchester,
and he knew that they were also very at the time. They were precise. They were very precise weapons.
And they still are. Mm-hmm. Like, they're extremely good weapons, and they're extremely expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a Winchester.
Yeah. You're buying... That is...
You're buying the name.
Yeah, that is the Harley of guns. Like, you are buying the name. Mm-hmm. You're not buying the item. Anyway.
Yeah, back away from the tangent onto the...
Back to the house. The house is claimed to be one of the most haunted places in the world. Mm-hmm. Because of all the spirits that are haunting Sarah Winchester, and Sarah Winchester's spirit even is allegedly supposed to reside there now. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like all of our episodes. We're going to end up ruining it for ourselves eventually.
But why was the house built the way it was? Like, did it continue, or
it was the standard lore, and I think what they feed you when you go on the tour of the house is that it was in continual construction for... Oh God, I saw it just now. It was in continual construction for years and years. So, construction was allegedly in a continual cycle from around 1895-96. Up until Sarah Winchester's death 38 years later. Allegedly.
Okay.
But Sarah, the allegedly the true story or version of it is there was always construction to one degree or another, but there were months and months at a time where she wouldn't allow construction because she would have not fainting spells, but she was very prone to exhaustion, I guess. I don't know any other way to really put it, because she wasn't fainting and, like, passing out onto a fainting couch or anything.
Yeah.
But it was probably just because all the weird chemicals they used back in the 20s and early 1800s.
I mean, that'll do it.
Yeah. And that's when all the weird, hallways to nowhere, doors opening to walls would start, because she ran out of things for people to actually build. So he's like, just put a door there. Why? Fuck it, whatever, I don't care. But the other part of and I'm pretty sure my mom told me this, because I think she went on the Winchester tour. Allegedly, Sarah Winchester had gone to see a fortune teller and advised her, the spirits of the dead by your husband's hands are coming to haunt you. You must confuse them and to avoid their icy grip of death. Basically, she was told by a fortune teller, if you want to live, spend a lot of money and build a confusing house.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they tell you on the tours still.
Now you're saying that, how big is the house?
Ridiculous. They had a...
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I
was looking for the square footage.
I couldn't resist. I had to look it up. Yeah. Holy crap.
How big was it?
Initially it was just an 8-room farmhouse.
Yeah.
And it grew into the world's most unusual and sprawling mansion, featuring 24,000 square feet.
Yep.
Let's see, 24,000 square feet. 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 52 skylights, 47 stairways and fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, at a price tag of $5 million in 1923, or $71 million today. That is a mammoth of a house. And I'm seeing an old black and white photo. Like, I really cannot comprehend a house that size. I would truly have to see it in person.
Yeah.
It looks like it has a little garage in the back and everything, too.
Oh, I'm sure it does. And I think people still live in it. Like, and it, I mean, 24,000 square feet, it's big enough where you could live there and you wouldn't see the tourist groups rolling through.
Ah, jeez, this is massive. Oh, there's a horse-drawn carriage right there.
Let's go over some of the features of the house and a little bit of the weird stuff about it.
All right.
Sarah was actually known to build, rebuild, abandon construction projects altogether if the progress was not meeting her expectations.
Okay.
Which, I mean, if you got at $5 million back in that day, you know, why not throw some money around?
I mean, she had the money.
Yeah.
She had the money, and
and she had guarantees that the money was still going to roll in.
And I wouldn't surprise me if she fired some of the laborers too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she fired laborers and even foremen. You know, she's probably hired and rehired crews and management teams all.
She probably pissed off so many people, but they were also like, well, she pays really good, so.
But in 1897, via the San Jose News, it was reported that she had a 7-story tower torn down and rebuilt 16 times.
When you can't keep building out, and you can't keep building up, just destroy, build, destroy.
Yeah. Just Minecraft it. Just tear it down, build it up. Tear it down, build it up.
Yeah.
As a result of her expansions, there were walled-off exterior windows and doors that were not removed as the house grew in size. And that's where those windows that open up into other rooms are from.
It's like, we can't take down the wall, man. It's a load-bearing wall. Fine, then just build a room and the window is not the door.
Multiple levels up to 5 stories were added up to different parts of the home.
Yeah, Ted's having a meltdown right now, everybody.
Ted's pissing me off. And you'll appreciate this. Different design elements, Victorian, Gothic, Romanesque features all thrown into this house.
Yep. And I look at some of the exterior photos, like, they all very much have those elements.
So, I'm going to try and sell this house to you now.
Some
of the features of this house are carved wood on the ballroom wall and ceilings.
You already have me sold.
Right.
I'm very easy to manipulate, unfortunately. Very
Woods
easy to sell.
Such as teak, maple, and mahogany were used to make...
It's mahogany.
Of rich mahogany. Were used to make the intricate pattern on the ballroom floor. Large brick fireplace framed by 2 windows that included quotes from Shakespeare. The second floor has bedrooms that each had adjoining sitting rooms and sewing rooms. So your fiance would never leave that section.
I mean, I would never leave. I'm enjoying this so far.
The wall coverings had a leather or metal appearance known as Lincrusta wall coverings. Ceilings had molding, stencil, and faux finishes. Chandeliers from Germany.
Ooh.
Which my mother actually has 2 from Belgium.
Ooh.
Shout out to Belgium. Art glass from Austria. Furnishings from Asia. Paintings from France. An annunciator intercom system.
An annunciator intercom system.
Yep.
So, very old-timey wire back then.
Yeah, old-timey servant pager system, basically.
Old-timey speaker system. Wow.
An indoor garden with slanted floors that would carry excess water to trapdoors, which had pipes that led the water supply to the outdoor flowers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Generator was installed for a water... God damn it, Ted! Installed for a water pump and electricity. Because of Winchester's height of 4'10" and health issues, there's also a stairway that has 44 steps that only rises 10 foot.
So it's a
44-stepped staircase that goes 10 feet up.
So they're literally like it's a really long. Because 10 feet is really not that tall, and 44 steps, like... I have a stair. I have stairs, and there's only 13 steps to get up a tent. So those had to have been really short steps.
Yes.
Just doing the math on that one. Good God. Hell, she's barely lifting her knees.
Yeah. And it looks, from the looks of these stairs, it's itty-bitty. Great sounding house, except for all the weirdness.
Beautiful looking house. I'm looking at a colored photo of it, and my goodness.
Yeah, I've got the Wikipedia entry pulled up, looking through some of the photos.
How dare you use Wikipedia?
I know, right? I'm not even citing my sources correctly. How dare I?
Oh my goodness.
This isn't college anymore.
Nope.
Windows were usually pastel colored.
Shoo.
This would bug me. Asymmetrical in design. And sharp beveled. Windows on the upper levels. Doing great.
You're doing terrific.
Hey, chronologically, we've done 3 episodes already. I'm burning the candle on this end.
You're doing okay so far.
Windows on the upper levels had a spiderweb tracery. Popular design back in the 20s. It looked very Morticia.
Spiderweb tracery?
Yeah, you know how stained glass has the outlining? It's the outlining without the stained glass part.
Spiderweb I think I have an idea. Like a window, or?
Yeah, on a window.
Oh, okay, I got it now. I get it. I see. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's what that is. That's cool.
The windows with the Shakespeare quotes, the quotes are from Richard II and Troilus and Cressida.
Uh-huh. Let's see. Old Dickie II?
Yep.
Any particular reason why she used those, do you know?
I would have, no, I'm thinking of Macbeth. I was thinking ghosts from the past giving warnings. I would think there's got to be some symbolism on that.
You go ahead and keep on going through. I'm going to...
deep dive on that one?
Yes.
There's claims that the windows for the house were made by Tiffany & Company, the jewelry company.
You mentioned Tiffany glass. You mentioned glass. I'm like, that's Tiffany glass. That is not cheap glass.
Yeah, despite the company rarely ever used beveled glass. That style of windows also found at Cragdarroch Castle in BC, Canada. And there's actually a architectural historian that makes that connection, makes that claim because of the very limited use of beveled glass. Jim Wolfe is the architect historian. He believes that the windows were made by that same company. Wolfe determined the glass artist John Mallon from Alexander Dunsmuir's company, the Pacific American Decorative Company, was the most likely artisan of the windows. So she had custom made windows made by one of those guys that's so good you don't even know who it is.
Like the top guy, one of the top guys.
Yeah, one of the guys.
Almost like an Andy Warhol thinking on this.
And that was sort of a topic of discussion, topic of argument for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But Wolfe's theory was actually confirmed when an envelope postmarked July 1894, which had the seal of Dunsmuir's company on it and scribbled note that appears to be in Winchester's hand, was discovered in the wall of one of the dining rooms that was being restored.
Jeez.
So they did confirm that, this company, that the Pacific American Decorative Company was actually the manufacturer of the windows. And many of the art glass windows that were purchased were never installed and were in a storage room.
Ah, okay.
So she had a Rolls Royce sitting in the back parking lot that was never used, basically, sort of thing.
God. I mean, when you have the money.
Yeah.
So I actually did my digging on this one. The quote from Richard II is from a prison soliloquy. And end of the line is, "These same thoughts people this little world." Let's see. It is at a point in the play where King Richard was deposed as king and trying to create a world within his cell using only his imagination, given the context of it.
Yeah, given the context, that tracks.
And then the second quote is, "Wide unclasp the tables of their thoughts." Quote is from Troilus and Cressida, as we did. Yeah. It's Ulysses is basically calling this is from in the middle of a paragraph where Ulysses, one of the characters, is calling a woman a slut, promiscuous woman, I'll say that one, after she flirts with a few characters. But it may have had a personal meaning for Mrs. Winchester. Let's see. So, the article I'm reading on this one says, maybe if it's swapped to read, "Wide unclasp the tables of their thoughts. These same thoughts people this little world." So possibly it's just a manner of her saying, "This is my world. This is my fantasy."
Yeah. Or my prison.
Possibly even that. Like, she is very much understanding that the effects of what her husband's company has done has now led her to truly create a prison of her own making.
Yeah.
Which I find fascinating. Because it's like, if nobody just throws Shakespeare without good damn reason.
Yeah, and especially specific stuff like that, you got some...
Like, there has to be something.
There's always a deeper meaning when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I was like, I have to get an answer, and so I like that idea. I like the thought that makes sense. A lot of different numbers were thrown around too, like 3, 11, 57, 52, bunch of crazy numbers, which I deal with a lot of work.
You remember how the rumor was that a fortune told her to do this because of ghosts chasing her and her married family's past,
and that she had, and that it. To keep herself alive was to just keep this house in continuous construction. I'm
going to circle back around on that a little bit. But 38 years of alleged continuous construction until her death in 1922.
Uh-huh.
But that since has been debunked. There were notes and interviews made that sometimes she would take months off of construction so she could rest and sleep. And
we mentioned that earlier, like having points of exhaustion.
Yeah. And then there was a student from San Jose State College, a Bruce Spoon. He decided to write his master thesis about Winchester in 1951. I believe he actually went and interviewed her because his name sounds familiar. But the reasons for building her home the way she did was to, quote-unquote, keep workers employed and to express her artistic vision.
That's, wealthy, eccentric person.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
he actually didn't interview her, but he interviewed people that were working on the house and actually were friends with her and close associates.
Yeah.
And then he went and interviewed he interviewed interviewers.
Yeah.
From newspapers and magazine articles. So he had as best of secondhand information as you could get about the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And, artistic vision, and she was helping people stay employed, so...
I can definitely still see her being very, the eccentric...
Yeah.
The eccentric rich weirdo. Because,
I feel like if she did have that fortune-telling side to, if that part was actually true, I don't think I would be openly saying that, because then no one would want to come work on the house.
Exactly.
It'd be that 13 Ghosts kind of scenario.
Oh, big time. There'll be food and drink and ghosts. Come now, please.
That would work on you and me, but probably not, normal human beings.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's also like she was also a woman of the times back in, the turn of the century, 1900s.
Yeah, and she was a widow.
So back then, mental health was not nearly as well known as it was now. So,
and I think, not that I'm a psychologist, and I'm not going to try and actually diagnose her.
Not going to be an armchair psychiatrist here.
But I would imagine, given if she was empathetic, as it sounds like she was trying to be.
Yeah, very.
I would almost say she might have had a little bit of, survivor's guilt.
Oh, yeah.
From being, basically the heir to a firearms company.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and especially if you lean more on the pacifist side of things, I could absolutely see that being a thing. And her recompense
is a good one.
For being in that position was to employ people to just build things.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely see that too. This is just my own speculation on this one.
Yeah, and that's why I sort of preface that with I'm not a psychologist. I don't have a degree in it, but
she may have been a very eccentric rich person. I mean, when you have the money to do just about whatever you want on God's green earth,
or she may have just been high off her ass from all the bad chemicals that they use in construction back then. You know, lead, cocaine in your Coke, and meth in your aspirin.
Arsenic in the varnish.
Yeah, like it could have just been that, and that may have been where she may have just had a fever dream of, oh God, the ghosts are out to get me. But it could have been any mixture of any of that.
This is just speculation on my part. And I'm not trying to belittle her. I'm not trying to no.
The outcome of her times.
Yes.
I guess is the best way to put it. That could have resulted in all of these different origin stories for this house itself.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a combination of all those things. She could have been she could have actually wound up becoming very eccentric with her money. But
she could have gone to a fortune teller, and then she could have had those thoughts in her head, and then all the chemicals may have just...
It could have been everything at once.
Yeah. Everything all at once.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that movie.
I haven't either. I watched a review, and I thought Inception was crazy.
I want to watch that, but I'll worry about that at a later time. Anyway.
So yeah, overall, I think you mentioned it, 500 rooms at its largest. When Winchester died in 1922... the house had 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 47 stairways, 47 fireplaces, 13 bathrooms, and 6 kitchens.
Yep. I actually found the Winchester website for that one.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Like, that's a big house.
That's a monster of a house.
I would love to actually go visit there. And I can only imagine, because the thing is, this is back in 1920s. This is back in 1910s, turn of the century California, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's not the San Jose that it is now.
But that was definitely a Great Gatsby level house. Like, holy crap.
When you got the money, it makes me think of... I don't think you've ever seen it. It makes me think of the house from Citizen Kane.
Mm-mm.
You've never
seen Citizen Kane.
I do recommend it. If you like it, it's one of the first movies to feature flashbacks.
Nice.
And it is... really well done.
Isn't that the one at the... No, I'm thinking of something else. Rosebud.
That's it.
Oh, that is Rosebud? Okay.
Yes. Because quite truly, here... I'm just going to send you a picture of the house that was quote unquote constructed for the movie. I say constructed. It was it's a backdrop, obviously.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about this. This is not this is just like describing it. But this is they pretty much, the character for Charles Foster Kane was a fucking castle called Xanadu.
Xanadu. So that's where that comes from. Okay.
Xanadu's that's what it was called.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to actually watch that now, I think.
It is a very good movie. Like it's really well done. 1941, man.
And I'll sort of jump up to the 1906 San Francisco earthquake.
Uh-oh.
That big old beast of an earthquake that killed a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, San Jose's not that far away from San Fran.
Yeah.
It hit the Winchester house, and there was extensive damage.
I can imagine.
When the 1906 San Fran earthquake hit, God damn it, Dad. I'm just going to leave that tab up so it doesn't hit again.
Yeah.
The Lanada...
Manat.
When the Lanada Villa, which I guess was a section of the house, was severely damaged.
Uh-huh.
There were rumors that Winchester was trapped in the house, but there was no evidence that she was there. She owned several homes in California, and after the earthquake, spent most of her time at her home in Atherton. That 16 times built over 7-story tower, and most of the chimneys collapsed during the earthquake.
That doesn't surprise me that 16 times over, because it's like, you built it 16...
You can only build it, yeah.
You can only build it so much, and the thing is, like, you try to rebuild something, it's going to have its faults. It's like It's like folding something over and over. Eventually, it's going to give.
Yeah. One entire wing of the house was destroyed along with the third and fourth story additions.
Uh-huh.
Sarah had the rubble removed, but had little more done to the property after the earthquake, because she died in 22, and this was 1906, so she was getting closer to the back end of her life than anything. Yep.
Well, you know what happened? Well, we all know what happened when some of the ghosts managed to get out, because that area destroyed.
It left doors that opened to nothing, where balconies had once been, pipes that were protruding from where... lost my place. That were protruding from what were once window boxes, and staircases that once led to upper floors, ending suddenly.
My brain is so stupid. You mentioned like the pipe, like the pipe sticking out. It makes me think of like when somebody breaks a arm or a leg, and their bone sticks out, and it just made. And then all of a sudden, I was like, "It's a leg," and I started to think of SpongeBob. My leg. I hate how my brain just does these somersaults into everything.
I think a little bit of the doors leading to nowhere and stuff sticking out were from the 1906 earthquake, and since it was so long ago, some people probably just, doors that led to nowhere, because, that's how the ghosts got through or got out.
Yeah, possibly.
A little bit of embellishment on the touristy side, I'm sure.
Oh, I mean, if it generates some results.
Yeah. The house had become a tourist attraction 9 months after she died.
And how old was she when she died?
83, I believe. Yeah, 83.
Ooh, my. So she dealt with a lot of tragedy in her life.
And the last major project she had done was in 1916, and she had an elevator installed to the house. I assume for her, because she may have been wheelchair bound, or
she was in her 70s by then.
Yeah, couldn't walk upstairs. Well, except that 44 staircase that goes 10 feet up.
That's So she had a life of tragedy. With like she lost
self-imposed, I would believe.
Yeah, because she lost her husband, and then didn't several other Winchesters of the family
mysteriously passed. I think
seems a little bit like how the Kennedys are too.
Yeah, it was definitely a Kennedy situation, and it was. I think a couple of them were suicides by a Winchester rifle or pistol's hand or shotgun's hand.
I think it's more so the fact that the Winchester family, much like the Kennedy family, was such a
dynasty.
That death became very
foreign to them.
Not foreign, but it was commonplace to it.
Yeah.
It's like how there was there was a long spring in history where Kennedy died. One Kennedy died here. Kennedy died here. Like how JFK and Robert both were assassinated.
And I think this kind of goes... Your family becomes so powerful, people want you dead for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. With Kennedy, at least. So that happens, and then people just start immediately trying to conspiracy theory draw conclusions.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the same with the Winchesters. They got so rich and they got so off of a weapon.
Yeah.
That people kind of drew conspiracy theory, supernaturally-ish kind of lines to it.
Yeah, because I could definitely see that. It's just something that made me think on it, because the Winchesters very much is a dynasty legend of itself because it got built up.
Yeah, it got. I would say, and I'm not a huge. I know weaponry, but I don't know it so well that I'm not like one of those gun nut guys. But I would say Winchester is one of the names that built America weaponry wise. The Colt single action revolvers, the Winchester rifle, those are weapons that are historical for their worldly value and worldly input.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, she had tragedy in her life, clearly.
Yeah, tuberculosis.
Was it TB? Oof.
With a couple of them, like her husband, William Winchester.
William Wirt.
William Winchester. He, I'm not mistaken. Tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is a rough one.
Yeah, it is. Post Sarah's death, the house had fallen into massive disrepair and considered to be of no monetary value. That's how far gone it was. But a group of investors came by, purchased the house and the property, and then leased the house out to a John and Mamie Brown, who turned it into the attraction it would become. And then they purchased the house outright in 1931. And they actually added and deleted a lot of the stuff on the house. Like, they actually did their own construction on the house besides restoring it.
Before you hop into that, I got kind of jumping a little bit back on Sarah Winchester's like personality.
Mm-hmm.
We like to think her superstitious, guilt-ridden, crazy, or eccentric. Yeah. She was actually apparently very intelligent, a savvy financial manager. She was very kind and not superstitious. So, I mean, you can be intelligent and a little eccentric, but I definitely, I don't think. I mean, look at me, but I don't think that she's. I definitely don't think that she's actually as crazy as.
I think any craziness and any claims of insanity or anything, any weird negative connotation to her might have just been blown out of proportion after her death to get tourists in, and then again, whatever chemicals they may have used that may have caused issues mentally.
I mean, again, it's a speculation. Yeah. This is just opinion. We're leaving that there.
Yeah. But the first tour guide of the house was Mamie Brown.
Uh-huh.
And she was the one that started, the house is haunted and stuff like that. And they actually had neighbors, friends, and workers for Winchester actually started making a stink about it, making, the Browns are making things up to get people, to get money, which, you do that.
I mean, I can see that because that if you can say that this place was built because she was haunted by spirits.
Yeah, you're going to get a continual revenue. And then, later on, it's, those people actually claim that Sarah was clear-headed and savvier with finance and business than most men.
It's men denouncing a woman.
Yeah. In 1924, Harry Houdini briefly visited the house. Was actually impressed by its weird layout and architectural novelties.
I loved Harry Houdini, mostly because...
He's one of those characters in history that's like, was he real? He was real.
He was.
Yeah.
He was a real person.
Yeah.
He was also a notorious skeptic who would go to seances and he would go, you're bullshitting these people.
And he actually helped... He went up to tour operators and said, hey, you should call this the Winchester Mystery House.
Yeah.
And
that's how it got its name.
Yeah. Sure. So Houdini's kind of to blame for some of the supernatural implication of it.
I mean, he was a showman.
Yeah. And as of September 2022, the house is owned and operated by Winchester Mystery House LLC.
Nice.
So... which is a company that represents the descendants of Mamie and John Brown.
Alrighty. So it doesn't really have any connection to the Winchester Rifle Company anymore, I'm assuming.
They actually have.
Or is there something connected?
When Keith Kittle, a former Disneyland and Frontier Village employee, became the general manager in 1973, the house was in pretty rough shape. So he had the house renovated in the 70s and 80s again.
Leave it to a guy from Disney to wind up...
And added a Winchester Rifle Museum.
Yeah, leave it to a guy from Disney, a former Disney employee to get everything fixed up.
Yeah. Don't say that about Star Wars.
I'm not saying anything.
What? Sequel trilogy? What?
Moving on.
He actually sought historical landmark status for the house and began an advertising campaign, including large billboards all along the highways on California.
Which that would definitely still garner the attraction from a lot of people. Billboards and
on
all that.
But despite him wanting landmark status for the house, the billboards featured a silhouetted house with implications that a ghost encounter was possible.
So it's still a cash grab.
It's still a cash grab. It's still a roadside attraction sort of thing. But it's got historical significance to it for a change.
Yeah.
He played off the history and the superstition that was already circulating. And Kittle was the general manager until 1996. So he was the boss man for 23 years. I can math.
Yeah, but I was going to say a little over 2 decades by the sounds of it.
Yeah, 73 to 96. And then there's a book by author Mary Jo Ignafo. I probably said that. Captive of the Labyrinth. And she kind of whistleblowed the whole thing. She wrote that tour guides were required to follow a script emphasizing fabrications and inaccuracies.
Oh, Lord.
According to Ignafo, one guide lamented, "I feel so torn because I have to tell people untruths. Every time I go through the house and have to talk about 13s and other kooky things, my heart breaks a little for Sarah. I have to bite my tongue every time I hear a guest say, 'What a nutcase.'" So, yeah, that kind of...
Yeah, no, like that.
Now I'm sad. Now I'm depressed. And yeah, I kind of wanted to get to the bottom of it because I had heard all the standard stuff. You know, she was crazy. She had ghosts haunting her. I was like, that can't be the whole story. And I ruined it. I have done what I said I would. I have ruined it for myself.
And then of course, notorious skeptic and one of the most notorious skeptics in our time, Joe Nickel, who you and I are very familiar with. Yep. He has been there, and he has made the conclusion that the house is not haunted, and that it is just a tourside attraction.
He is, Ignafo and paranormal investigator Joe Nickel.
There he is.
Man, yeah, and they reported in the early 1900s. For Sarah Winchester, she started having arthritis. She started having teeth issues, starting to lose teeth. Neuritis? Yeah, Neuritis. Became more private, more reclusive. So the reluctance to show up in public was starting to become the crazy lady at the Winchester Mansion.
It'll add to the mythology of the mansion.
Okay, so I just saw this. Winchester's relatives, employees, gardeners, everyone always made claims that she was never superstitious.
Yep.
She was never guilt-ridden, crazed, anything. She was an old lady. She wanted to just fuck off. Let me go live in my mansion by myself, damn it.
Some people are just like that. I mean,
that's going to be you if you ever come into money.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. That's me and my fiance. We legitimately have said that we're fine.
Who's that mustache in the window?
We're fine just being hermits.
Yeah.
We don't mind it.
So this is really cool. All of her employees were named as beneficiaries in her will.
Nice.
That's
really cool.
Yeah, A+ to Sarah for doing that.
I'm actually curious. There are definitely like people who are still alive of the Winchester family, not like bloodline. But I don't think there's any direct obviously
there might be one or two like direct lines, but I mean that was 1900. You're gonna have to go back a few.
Yeah. Because it's like because Winchester, her husband, they had a daughter, but the daughter didn't last long. I think maybe a stillborn, perhaps.
Yeah, so it's going to be cousins and
it's people who are still out in Connecticut, I would argue.
Yeah, or maybe a couple of relatives that may have moved over to California to
possibly
care to Sarah, maybe. As for all, Sarah actually twice declined to host the U.S. president at the House.
No kidding.
In 1901, President William McKinley visited in a committee. That sentence doesn't make sense in my brain. President William McKinley visited, and a committee to arrange accommodations was formed, but Winchester did not extend an invitation.
In a committee to what again? Say that again. Just one more time.
So, McKinley and a committee. So McKinley and group
and his group
tried to arrange accommodations. Winchester said nah.
Okay.
The president and his official coaches drove past the house without stopping.
I mean, when you have that much money, you can go fuck off to the president.
And then your boy Teddy.
Hello.
Visited the area, and the legend states that Winchester would not open a locked gate to let the president in.
That does not surprise me. That does not surprise me.
It was not true, as the president had no interest in meeting Winchester, as stopping at the home could have been used to promote rifle sales.
Mm-hmm.
He did not want to be seen endorsing any product.
I can actually understand that one.
So,
I mean, me saying about him the whole Winchester rifles was when he was younger. When he was president, he was
he was a badass.
We focused on being president.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that sort of added to, she's crazy. She won't even talk to presidents.
Okay, Gollum. Presidents. We did that.
According to lore, Ermagerd Grushbumps. That's a throwback for him. According to lore, architectural features like 13 bedrooms, 13 bathrooms, 13 windows in certain rooms.
Yeah, the unlucky 13, these, there's 6s and 52s and all these different numbers thrown into the mix.
The first time this superstition was mentioned, printed, anything was 7 years after her death.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling like
someone took the was audacious enough to 13 windows. It's the devil lived in this room.
They took liberties.
Yeah. There were rumors that she had nightly seances.
She had there was a seance room, wasn't there? Or something like that?
There was probably some room that could have been viewed as, but she wasn't she wasn't superstitious. There's no record of them being held in the house.
I would love to actually go just visit this place because, I mean, it's such a massive house.
There it is, yeah. There were claims that she had nightly seances in the blue room or in a closet by herself from midnight until 2 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Talking to ghosts about what construction should be accomplished the following day.
Heard about that one.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think she was actually a highly intelligent woman that was being philanthropic and was, build another wing. I don't care. Here's some, go feed your family. It's 1910s, 1920s, on the cusp of Depression, California.
Yeah, that was going to be a rough time. When I think of the Depression, when I think of the Great Depression, I immediately think of the Three Stooges and a lot of the different movies they did, wherein they're standing in bread lines and everything else.
The first thing that comes to my mind is Dust Bowl, Oklahoma.
Yes.
And then that photo of the mom holding her hand under her chin with the 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2 images that come to mind.
The Grapes of Wrath also comes to mind, and of Mice and Men too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she is what Elon Musk should be, or could be.
She was very altruistic with her money.
Yes.
That is what it was. That's a good term for it.
She is what every rich person should strive to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you have so much money you don't know what to do with it, make goofy additions to your house. Build a staircase to nowhere because it's going to pay 13 guys Oh crap! I just said 13. Oh god,
Tony, what's wrong with you? You've cursed us.
It's gonna pay for someone's mortgage back in that time. That was someone's meal for the week. That's what someone with that kind of money should strive to do. Is if they have nothing to do, make something to do. Last thing, just sort of pop culture mentions. It's actually the inspiration for the Haunted Mansion Disney ride.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, which opened in 1969 in California.
Yep.
It is the primary setting for Michaela Rosener's 1993 science fiction novel Vanishing Point. It's been a ghost story musical by composer Greg Baumler. It's been on multiple ghost shows, Ghost Hunters, Paranormal Investigation, all that sort of stuff.
The Ghost Bros, all of that.
What's up, Ghost? It's your boy. In 2017, the house was featured on an episode of Ghost Brothers.
There it is.
It's been mentioned in songs, album covers, album artwork. I'm sure it's a Getty's Images background for Crazy Mansion. Type in Crazy Mansions. That's a Getty image.
You'll see something there. It wouldn't surprise me if they've actually had. I'm pretty sure they probably had horror movies that are like Winchester, that sort of thing. I can imagine that.
2017 movie or 2018 movie filmed in 2017. The film Winchester, featuring Helen Mirren as Sarah Winchester.
Just as I frickin' said it too.
Right.
And Helen Mirren.
I mean, if I'm Sarah Winchester, I'm going to be looking down from like, all right, cool, damn, Helen Mirren, nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Good on you guys. Supposedly real life events.
Yeah.
Inspired by Ignafo's Captive of the Labyrinth book.
But it's
probably not. I don't think I've seen Winchester, but
it's Hollywood, and they like to embellish the truth a little.
And then the biggest one that isn't mentioned, I'm not sure why, but the Winchester name itself, supernatural.
Yes.
Winchester's become almost synonymous, for me at least now, with paranormal, which, obviously, historically, it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be, at least, but it is now. Not because of her directly, but because of the claims, and then it evolving into this amazingly well-received and profitable fucking show.
Because of the Supernatural TV show, yeah.
So
I could see that.
Overall, it'd be cool to go see, and you may get just from what's that syndrome of like you go to a place you're told is haunted, so you think it's haunted.
I call it persuasion or
the power of persuasion.
Persuasion, hysteria.
Yeah,
a couple of things like that.
But you might get some goosebumps, and you might want to hear things you're not going to actually hear.
Yeah,
you might see a ghost that isn't actually there. But overall, it just historically, it's a crazy cool house. I would love to go visit.
Yeah. Have you kind of speaking on this now? If you have any more stuff to focus on here?
Not really. I'm sort of wrapping Winchester up.
Let's actually ask a question. Have you ever actually been on a haunted tour? Like, actually, when I say...
I have not.
And I don't mean like, we're on a haunted hayride, watch out for... And then people jump out and scare you.
No, like a legitimate, go down to New Orleans.
Yeah. Have you ever actually done that?
I have not. I kind of want to, but I don't... I'd want to go to, not the Winchester house now, but, something of that level of... It's not, Billy Bob... with 3 missing teeth. Oh yeah, no, there's a guy killed over there. Three.
Yeah, no.
I'd want it to be professional.
Yeah,
I guess.
My case on it is I have been on a haunted tour. A couple years ago, my fiance and we went to Austin, Texas.
Oh yeah.
And on our first night there, it was a haunted tour throughout a couple of locations in Austin. There, we actually went on to UT campus to one of the locations, to a mansion. We also went into a hotel, which I'm pretty sure I could cover that one in an episode.
Oh, I'm sure we could just do haunted hotels as an entire episode.
It was really cool to go walk around all this type of stuff. That we were traveling around in a hearse, like we're traveling in style. It was a fun time. Definitely worth it. I'm a skeptic by my nature, so our guide, it was just the two of us and the guide. So he was and he was just having it, and he was hamming it up a little, but I was like, I like it because he was having fun
he enjoyed his job.
He was, and it was a lot of fun. There was another tour going on at the same time with another tour guide, and with the same company, but that tour had like several people with him. It wasn't just. So it was a wonderful time. I recommend it because.
So I would.
Some of them really get into the fun stories.
I wouldn't think if I think haunted tours, not haunted hayrides, but haunted guided tours, stuff like that. Austin is not on my top of the list.
Yeah, we went to a couple of locations that have been around for a while. There was an old mansion. There was, I think the most unsettling one was we actually went into a bar, and we actually, because it's part of the tour, we went up into the loft area where they said that there was a little girl who was killed and her body was just thrown.
I'm done. Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Don't say anything more. Nope.
Yep.
I'm good.
That's no. The stories were unsettling, and I was like, but I had to keep my head clear
because
ghost
children are my frogs.
No, I know. But yeah, I kind of had to keep myself clear because I don't want to be persuaded into, because that's how I have to keep that's how I have to be. I've seen the goosebumps, and you're a good 6 feet away.
God.
I did not mean to scare you like that, man.
Ugh. Ugh. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, you're good now.
Anyway.
But yeah, I do recommend like a good ghost tour, man. Like find yourself one and just enjoy.
Like I said, Austin is not on my top. If I was to go, if I wanted and was capable of going to any guided ghost tour thing, Savannah, Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Or New Orleans.
Both,
like those are my go-to. Like
both very, very haunted. Both purportedly haunted locations. Yeah. Savannah, Georgia, being supposedly the most haunted city in the nation.
And that's if I'm gonna go on a haunted tour, I'm going hard with it.
I respect that.
I'm not messing around with Oklahoma City. Has a hotel that might be scary.
Mm-hmm.
No, fuck that. I'm going to the most haunted city in the damn U.S.
You're diving headfirst into the shallow end of the pool.
That's an appropriate way to put it. Yes. But yeah, Winchester House. So have I sold you on it? Are you going to buy it?
I mean, I wish I could afford that house.
Right.
I'll never be able to afford a house like that in a billion years. But I still wouldn't mind the house like that. I mean, we've established that I very much like the old Victorian aesthetic on houses.
Yeah, I do. I think I'm more Gothic style. If I was to actually try and go with an architecture style, yeah. I like Gothic. Notre Dame, gargoyles, the big arch steeples and buttresses, and not the ribbing, but that sort of.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'd love to visit, and I'll send you the pictures I want to post, or I guess I can just take them and post them.
Yeah.
When I get to that point, but.
Oh yeah, these episodes. I keep forgetting to put this up. We share photos with this on our Instagram and Facebook, so please check us out there. But we mentioned that we have an Instagram and a Facebook at the end of every episode. But these photos that we usually will send to each other.
We try to coordinate them in chronological, like how we mention stuff, but with it being one subject and it not being really canonical with anything, like with the Winchester House. We're just gonna throw some of the cooler pictures or some of the pictures that are more pertaining.
In relation to the topic.
Probably throw a picture of Sarah Winchester up.
There's a portrait, maybe her and her husband, possibly.
Yeah. But yeah. Man, that's a cool... if I had the money, I would totally buy this house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right, so I think that's about all I got on Winchester. Yeah, that's on my list of places I want to visit.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll just wrap this up, and Tim, you want to tease the next episode since you're gonna take the handles on that one?
Yep, take the handlebars for it.
All right.
Yeah, we got our next episode. We're a little bit further into December now, so it'll be for the next episode. So I figure we're gonna be focusing on a holiday figure of great lore. It's kind of obvious on what I'm thinking of here, everybody. But with all that being said,
Frosty the Snowman. I'm gonna get it. I got this.
You'll get it.
Rudolph.
We're getting closer. But that being all said, Tony, thank you everybody for tuning in to Tall and Short with Tim and Tony.
The elf from that stop motion animation that wanted to be a dentist.
I don't know where he came into this, but
that's my guess.
Yep.
That's it. Oh yeah, I'm Tony. Hi.
Yep, and
Hi.
I'm Tim. There you go.
Wait, bye. Yeah.
We definitely hope that you enjoyed our little house hunting. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Even when we're ending, we still kind of mess up a little. I love it.
It's the monster, man. I'm jittery.
Let's see.
I'm high on caffeine.
But let's see. Follow us on socials, on Facebook and Instagram. It's where we'll post all these photos that we have of all this, photos related to the topic at hand. Once again, I want to give thanks to Brittanie Miller for our logo. And then you can also email us at tallandshortpod@gmail.com. That is tallandshortpod@gmail.com. You can also just find it down in the show description. So we've got that on our YouTubes and our various podcast platforms.
Send us suggestions on what to cover next, or if you have an argument for us about something, or if you have personal stuff that you know or have encountered.
Yeah, nice little updates. Like, please contact us, and tell your friends. Like, rate and review, drop a comment. All word of mouth helps keep podcasts going, and we would really greatly appreciate that from everybody. And before I go, don't try to build a giant house to appease a bunch of spirits. Yeah, because that's a movie, and we saw how that went. Yep. Watch 13 Ghosts. That's great. But once again, everybody, stay tuned for more Tall and Short. Take it easy, everyone. Ho, ho, ho. Bye!